Now, it's no understatement to say that you pretty much always get what you pay for. But here's the thing, if that's the case, and the price of the Meteor 350 doesn't make any sense, why have so many of us already bought one or are thinking about buying one when they appear to be so cheap for what you get? Anyway, before you make your mind up, let's take a look at what you'd actually be getting for your hard-earned dosh if you decided to lash out on one. I think the first thing to say is about this little bike, it's more than able to get you from A to B, has plenty of classic cruiser charm and is a whole load of fun to ride. That is as long as you don't go expecting the world when it comes to the top speed. But anyway, let's come back to that in a moment. It's definitely pleasingly unintimidating and has some great details and modern touches, like a very novel Google-powered tripper navigation. And to be honest with you, stuff from Enfield nowadays seems to be so well put together, its credibility seems to be nudging ever closer to say, maybe it's a triumph? Well, sort of anyway. So for me personally, I think one of the things that makes this little Meteor such an easygoing and comfortable bike to ride is it very convincingly combines not what I would call a full-blown cruiser riding position, but a much more accommodating upright riding stance with outstretched legs that, let's say, the slightly older generation should find more comfortable. Now, not forgetting that this is a bike that's going to cost you a little under £4,000, there's nothing too fancy going on with the bike's suspension, apart from telescopic 41mm forks up front with 130mm of travel, and a pair of twin rear shocks with 6 steps of preload. Oh yeah, and you'll be getting Enfield's new twin double tube spine frame as well, that when combined with the suspension translates to the road surface very well, especially when charging around country lanes, but equally when scratching around town as well. And one of the things we really like about the bike is its soft bite when braking, that comes from a well-suited twin-pot Biber caliper over a 300mm disc with a 270mm disc out back. Now, you also get a dual-channel ABS system, and everything had a nice progressive feel to it that quickly brought a pair of 19 and 17-inch alloys to a graceful stop. Now, I've read a few reviews that say it's better for smaller riders, female riders and novices, and you know what, I'm not going to disagree with that, but with a saddle height of 765mm, I personally think they're underselling it a bit. So despite being what I think most of us would class as at the retro end of the motorcycle sector, this little 350 is fitted with a few nifty gadgets, including in a first for Royal Enfield a very handy tripper navigation system that uses Google Maps for turn-by-turn directions, and when it's not paired to your phone it looks like a nice little clock that simply displays the time. The tripper's a great feature for those of you that want a bit of extra information while on a ride. You also get a USB charging point on the handlebars that means if you're down with the kids and you want a bit more modern tech on your bike, mounting a phone to charge and ride's all good to go. Now, when you look at the dash, it has an analog LCD screen that provides all the essential information that you need. You know, stuff like speed around the outside and the usual trip details on the inside. And when it comes to the switch gear, it's all in the usual place that you'd think it would be in, and it's very easy to use. Now, getting back to that too good to be true price for a moment, as I'm sure some of you will be thinking, £3,500 to £4,000's quite a lot of money. And yes, compared to a Mash, or maybe even a Mutt, or one of the new breed of Chinese retro-styled middleweight bikes around nowadays, you'd be right in thinking it's not cheap. But let's not forget, you're going to be getting a mainstream bike here with a 3-year warranty out of the box that's been around for many years, sold millions of bikes, and has only increased the quality of what they make as they've gone along. Now, if it's not for you, I guess you could always go for something like a Honda Rebel if you wanted a different mainstream brand. But you certainly won't be getting anything like the price of the Meteor, and the Honda only comes with a 2-year warranty, which for me personally speaks volume about the quality of this Enfield. So to be quite brutal, I think most of you would expect a bike like this with a 350cc engine to be able to cruise past 80 miles an hour, or at least get to it. Now, I know for those of you looking at this bike like an easygoing 350cc easy rider, you'll probably be satisfied with its output. But if not, your next step up's probably going to be something like a Kawasaki Vulcan to get the extra power. That is if you've got an extra £4,000 or so lying around that you don't want. I guess looking at the face of it, the real reason to buy a bike like this isn't because it's great value for money, or even its easygoing attitude. It's not even about the 3-year warranty or the hours of laid-back fun you'll have. But what it definitely is about is getting on one yourself, taking it for a blast like thousands of you already have done before, and seeing if it fits. So yes, you know what, perhaps I am missing the point of this bike, and it is all about chugging around country lanes and gracefully watching the world go by. You know, all peaceful like. But here's the thing, with the new J Series 350 under the fairings, the thing I can't work out is, although this little Meteor might not be the biggest and fastest thing you're ever going to ride, I just can't understand why they've limited the top speed to a smidgen over 70 miles per hour, when you can get something like a CB125R that can do over 80. Anyway, if any of you out there think I am missing the point and it's a good thing they've limited the speed, I guess this is the bike for you. But what I would love you to do is let us know your thoughts on it in the comments section below. Thumbs up if you've enjoyed today's review. As always, sub if you want. Stay upright guys, I'm out here.